I've beaten you, huh? Your quest is over? What if it's only beginning?
First of all, can you tell us a little bit about what you're showing off here at E3 from Uncharted 2?
Sure. We're showing off Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. It's Naughty Dog's next big hit on the PlayStation 3 coming fall 2009. For the past few weeks, we've been talking about our online mode. We have cooperative where you could play with 3 people online through large sections of the single-player game. It's a whole new story, whole new AI management system. And we also have our competitive mode, which is 5 versus 5, heroes versus villains. The beta's going on right now. We have thousands of people playing online. It's awesome. You should go check it out. But here at E3 right now, we want to focus on our single-player campaign. And we want to show, we showed a demo at the press conference, really wowed the crowd. And we're saying, even though we're doing these online modes, Uncharted 2 single-player campaign is much more ambitious, much bigger, much more story-driven than the first game.
Has it been a challenge to sort of bring all these parts together compared to the first game?
Absolutely. I mean, we're trying to raise the bar of what just an action adventure in any medium can be, right? So we're taking, we took what worked in the first game, which is a very character-driven story. We're combining our platforming elements with our gunplay, with our puzzles, with just the kind of pacing that people told us. So once they picked up the controller, they just weren't able to put it down. And we just loved hearing that stuff, and we said, okay, how do we raise the bar on Uncharted 2? And now we're just bringing these big cinematic set pieces into the game. We have a brand new graphics engine, so you're seeing these wide open shots of the city, you're seeing a lot more characters on screen, a lot more particles, and we have this whole mantra of giving the players more options as they're playing the game. So with that, we're introducing the idea of action stealth. It's not forced stealth like a lot of games. It's just another card in your arsenal. When you approach a combat area, you see the enemies walking around, they're talking, and you're like, wait, if I could take that guy out and snap his neck, steal his grenades, and then throw it over there to those guys and really take them out. And also with the idea of giving players more options, we said, okay, we have these traversal mechanics. We have a jump button, unlike a lot of other shooters. You can grab on edges. You could use a lot of verticality as combat. So that really opened up our level design to give players those options. And we also gave the enemies the same abilities. So if you climb up a building, you scamper up, you have a sniper rifle, you got the vantage point, eventually the enemies are going to be able to get there as well.
Has there been like a lot of feed from like designing the multiplayer and designing the single player and sort of cross-feeding between those two?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we hired brand new designers to handle our cooperative and competitive modes, and they've been looking at our combat in minute detail. Right, so they've retuned all our weapons, they've retuned the cameras for our aiming system. Just our combat, everything just feels a lot tighter. And we just fed that right into the single-player game, and now the single-player game just plays a lot better. So again, we didn't want to repeat ourselves in Uncharted 1, and even though we're showing our new trailer, we're saying Elena and Sullivan are back, we really wanted to show a new side of Drake. So we kind of went backwards and said, okay, we have this kind of classic pulpy action-adventure hero, but what does that mean in the real world? And the more we started researching and thinking about it, we're like, he's probably a criminal. When he's not doing these adventures, this guy's life probably falls apart pretty quickly as far as like socially. And even though he finished Uncharted 1 with the girl, he's got all this treasure. We come in 2 years later, he's already spent almost all his money, he's alone, Sully and Elena aren't around. But here comes his friends like, hey, I got this job, we're gonna rob this museum. And even though he's reluctant, he takes it on, he needs the money. And we get to see that Drake is surrounded by all these criminals that don't have the same moral compass he does, which what sets him apart, but he's a fallible hero.
And that's also for the subtitle of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, the Among Thieves says, this is the world Drake inhabits. The people he surrounds himself with, it's hard to trust because they're all looking out for number one.
And when will we be looking at the game in stores?
Fall 2009, coming out this year.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Sure hope you know what you're doing.
I don't have the faintest idea.